So what's up, y'all? This is Alicia coming to you with a bit of a celebratory as well as reflective video. So last month quietly marked 1 year since I packed up my life, packed up my daughter, and packed up a whole lot of hope and moved to Mexico. 1 year. Now, some of you have been with me since the beginning when I had freshly relocated and was full of excitement while also trying to figure out everything from how to get my phone to work to where do I get utilities taken care of to the actual act of solo parenting without any of our usual supports. And all the while doing this in a new country. And so, if you've been watching any of my previous videos over this past year, you know I've tried to be honest. I've tried to be honest about the beauty, about the stretching that we've had to do, about some of the growing pains we've had as well. But I've also gone quiet in recent months. And not because there wasn't really anything to share, although, if we're being honest, daily life can be quite routine for most of us. And so there's not a lot of there. However, my quiet was more because things were getting overwhelming. And when I tend to get overwhelmed, I also shut down. I don't always know how to show up when life isn't tidy or inspiring or exciting. But today, in honor of the milestone of that 1 year, I want to try. And so I've been reflecting a lot lately on what this past year has really been like. I'm proud. Don't get me wrong. This was a very bold move for me. But I think somewhere around late spring, perhaps early summer, the honeymoon stage ended hard. And so the beauty of San Miguel and my gratitude for being here was still there, but they were layered with exhaustion for me and my daughter. A lot of second guessing and a deeper reckoning with what this choice really means for us long term. So, building a business from scratch, trying to navigate systems that don't always make sense, and also trying to keep a household afloat solo, it caught up with me. And it caught up big time. But here's the part that really cracks something open for me. My daughter, who's been my brave little ride or die through all of this, started saying out loud what I think we'd both been quietly feeling for a while. And one day she came to me and she said, Mommy, I am so lonely. This is hard. Maybe we should go back. I miss my, and fill in the blanks, my friends, my old home, my old way of life. All of those things were wrapped up into some of her feelings in that moment. And she didn't say it in a dramatic way. It was just in a, I miss what felt familiar kind of way. Homesick, and if honest, a little bit heartsick for all of the old, usual, known ways. Over the past year, school had been a challenge for her. The bilingual setting, learning the new language, learning new friendships, and some of that constant code switching of going from her Americanism to trying to integrate into the new Mexican environment. It's a lot. And her raw honesty made me pause. I think because it's one thing to push through discomfort for yourself, but when your child is visibly navigating her own transition fatigue, it really does hit different. And so I do want to be clear. This isn't a video about giving up. It's not a video about failure, not even a video about regret. I think it's more about the in between, that place where grief and gratitude exists, longing and reminiscing while making new discoveries. They can all sit next to each other. And I think the place that so many expats have lived in at some point in their relocation journeys, if they're being honest, where you're still proud of your amazing leap, but you're also kind of tired of that feeling of falling into newness, or perhaps falling into nothingness. Where you can celebrate your 1 year milestone with a lot of joy, a lot of pride, And simultaneously, you can be wondering what year two or more should even look like, or if there will be a year two or more. And so I am incredibly grateful to be here, as I said before. But I also am in the process of reevaluating what here actually means for us. And maybe that's the most honest, out loud version of this story of celebration and reflection I can tell right now. And so I think this is one of those things that my fellow and hopefully in recovery, never let them see you sweat type of people can resonate with. I basically decided to open up for once. And so during my recent birthday trip, I had one of those let's drop the mask moments with a few of my closest friends. I admitted things to them that I hadn't even said out loud to myself. I talked to them about the financial pressures of being a new entrepreneur, creating a business remotely, creating a business without a solid client base or steady funding pipeline. I talked about the weight of the parenting fatigue I feel in during this journey as a solo parent. And I think I also talked about the part of me that wonders how the chapter that I fantasized and envisioned can still look quite different in practice than I thought it would in theory. And so their response was, Alicia, I had no idea. You don't show this. You don't show the hard parts. And it hit me because I've always wanted to show the full picture, but sometimes I think survival makes edits where we're thinking about what we're actually willing to share and the things we hold close to our chest. And so this short video is me sharing that fuller picture. It's still a bit edited, but it's still tender and it's still real. And also, it's not lightly glossing over things that have given me perhaps less than restful sleep some nights, if I'm being honest. But again, I reflect on the fact that it has been 1 year abroad, 1 year of radical and raw courage, 1 year of disruption, 1 year of discovery, and 1 year of still questions. So this is not meant to be any version of a resignation letter. It's also not a poor me moment. I think it's just an honest mile marker. I think it's a chance to name what can feel heavy some days and feel light as a feather others, so that I can always make room for what's next. And so if you've ever wondered or followed a dream, but then found yourself still asking, is this working for me? I see you. You're honestly in no way a failure for reevaluating. You're just human. And I think wherever this road leads next, for me, for us, I'll keep trying to show up with truth and not just the polished versions. And as I thought about today, and I was on Facebook looking at one of the expat groups, a woman who had moved to Thailand recently with her son was questioning her experience. She was questioning her loneliness and wondering if she had made the right decision. And as you can imagine, there were so many comments. There were comments from people like, oh, I see you. This will get better. It's fine. There were other people who were questioning her of, well, did you really do your research? And did you really know what you were getting into? But what touched me were the ones who went deeper and said and reaffirmed her and her decision and saying, you can do all the scouting trips you want. You can stay for a month. You can stay for 2 months. You can stay for three. But at some point, the things that you think you know about a place may or may not turn out to be true. It may be a seasonal thing, or it may be that you truly don't resonate with it in the spirit the way you thought you would. And that's okay. Doing something like this is something that many may think about, may plan, may hope for, but they don't do it. And so there is courage in the moment. There's courage in the fact that we're giving our children worldviews that many won't have, and that we hope that those things will make them better humans as they move forward in life. And so there's beauty in the struggle. There's beauty in the realness. There's beauty in the honesty, so that someone who is taking this journey or thinking about taking this journey recognizes that it's not all the glossy Instagram pictures and the polished Facebook posts. There is reality around it. And some days you're going to have a wall slide or two, and other days you're going to laugh with your full chest. And being present, being alive, being able to learn, experience, and do it again the next day is what matters the most. And so, for those of you who do follow this journey, I do want to thank you for walking this walk with me. And so, as I think about a continued future in this country of our choosing, I am doing my best to go past the emotions and to focus on our needs as they exist now, which are so different from what we sought and what we needed just over a year ago when we stepped off of that plane with our piles of bags in tow. And so, whether we stay and continue adapting, or return to the US, or return to, or go to some other location, I do want to ensure that we're making choices that work for both of us and that we are not just operating on emotion. So please, I invite you to drop a comment if any of this resonates or if you've been in your version of the in between season before. And if nothing else, for those of you who are listening, just take this as a permission to be honest with yourself in whatever place and space you happen to be in, whether an expat or sitting at home in your living room. And so thank you for the grace that is given unconsciously each and every time I take my breaks and then I pop back up onto the scene. I think life is truly life and for a lot of us right now. And the world is not quite the world that many of us may have imagined, but it's still here. And so please don't forget to like this video if any of the things I said touch you in any way. Share it with anyone you think that it may help. And also please subscribe to my channel for more on my parenthood journey, my entrepreneurial journey, my expat journey, as I and my daughter deepen our footprint in a world that is absolutely of our own making. Have a good day.